Welcome to Manna from Heaven with Sharon Lee. God says to us in Philippians 4:19 that He would supply all of our needs according to His riches from heaven. Aren't you ready to eat? I am. Everything we need pertaining to life and godliness is wrapped up in our relationship with Christ Jesus. And He supplied everything we need to live this life. So come join me. Let's have a conversation and eat together. Hurry up. Don't miss out. Come on, come on. Hello, my name is Sharon Lee. I'm the author of TeTe, the Color Calico Cat. And I just want to talk to you about this phenomenal book. I just love this book. It was divinely designed for me to write and orchestrated by the Holy Spirit. And I'm just so excited about it. TeTe, the Color Calico Cat, it's a book that talks about bully proofing your child and teaching your child how to love who God created them to be. And that is so important for a lifetime to have. And let me tell you how it came about. I'll tell you give you a little history on it. I lived in upstate Pennsylvania for about 30 years. I raised my kids there. I taught school for 16 years, and my husband worked up there. And the area where I lived, there was a gambit of different races and cultures. And so I raised my kids in an area where there was a lot of diversity. And it was important for me, my husband and I would talk about it all the time. It was important for me to bully proof my kids and for my kids to love who God created them to be, because if that's not on the inside of them, you'll have kids trying to be somebody else. You'll have black kids trying to be white. You'll have white kids trying to be black. Hey man, what's up? Because they think white boys saying that about black people, you think that's acceptable. Or you'll have black guys saying, hey man, how you doing? It just doesn't work. It's like and you'll notice in the book, one section of the book, I talk about a pot of stew. And when you eat a pot of stew, you want each vegetable in that stew or the meat in that stew to taste like what it's represented. You don't want to bite into a piece of beef and it tastes like an onion. You don't want to bite into a carrot and it tastes like a pea. You want everything to be authentically what it was created to be. And that's important. And it's the same thing when we're talking about racism or talking about who we are. There was a church that we went to years ago, and I think they meant this I know they meant it in a good way, but it just wasn't the truth. And they would say God doesn't see color. And I accepted that initially. And then it got to the point where I said, God does see color. If He created black and white cows to eat green grass, and He created a yellow sun and a blue sky, I think He understands color. So it would be better for us to say, why did God make us all different colors with different hair, different shapes, different sizes? There's a divine purpose for it, because God doesn't do just silly things for no reason. He does everything that He does for a divine purpose. And so since I was on that quest, I thought, that was in my mind. And I thought, I didn't know when I lived in upstate Pennsylvania exactly that God was going to have me do this book, 10 years later? But it all worked together. God causes all things to work together for His good. And so when we ended up living in Philadelphia, moving back to Philadelphia, because both of us were originally from the Philadelphia area, and we lived on City Avenue, and it's the main thoroughfare in Philadelphia. And we lived at an apartment complex that was called Mansion of Valor, a very posh apartment. It was nice. We paid well to live there. And the last month that we lived there, we had mice. Well, we had already purchased a house in Atlanta, where I am now. And so I knew we were moving. I didn't like the idea there that we had mice, but there was nothing really they could do about it. And when I went down to the office and they would give us an exterminator, they would say, well, there are field mice across from the field across the street. I didn't care. Field mice from the city, mice from a castle. I don't care. I don't like mice. Or let me say it clearly, that I'm afraid of mice. I don't like the way they just like stir me around. You know, I just don't like the whole thing. But when ended up moving to Atlanta, and we were down here. Um, Before we closed on our house, we had to stay at a chalet for about a week or a week and a half. It was a week or 2 weeks. I'm thinking it was maybe a week before we closed on our house. And so when the movers moved our things from storage to this house, one of the movers said, "Mrs. Lee, I saw a mouth in the truck." Oh my gosh, my heart just melted because my safety was in. We're moving away from mice. There's only mice in Philadelphia. There's none in Georgia, of course. I don't know. But when he said that to me, I thought, oh my gosh, that was in my head. It was like, here we go again. I can't take this. So I said to my husband the next morning, we woke up and I said, we have to go to the animal shelter and get a cat. He thought, are you crazy? He knew how I felt about animals. I wasn't really an animal lover. I had fish in my lifetime, but I wasn't really an animal cat and dog person. And so I said it to him. He didn't do anything that day. And I thought maybe he didn't hear me. So let me say this again. So the next day I said, Herbie, can we go to the animal shelter and get a cat? I don't want to keep the cat, but I remember when we built our house, and this is important because we don't see how things are linked together. Even little things are linked together because God is so clever. And so I remember when we were building our house in upstate Pennsylvania before we moved to Philadelphia, we built our house in an area called White's Woods. Woods. We had snakes, bears, I'm sure all kinds of rodents, but it was the woods. And so I remember saying, because when they were building the house, of course, everything is open before they put drywall up. And I remember one of my friends said that she would lend us her cat in a cage to stay in the lower level of our house. And we thought before we actually moved in, and we would go over and feed the cat every day for a week. She said, but once it's in the house, rodents won't come. So I had that in my mind. And so that was in my mind how many years, like 10 years later, when I was moved, or maybe it was more than 10 years later, when I moved here to Georgia. And so that's the reason why I kept insisting that we go to a shelter. So we went to the shelter, went in there, and the guy, everybody at the shelters love animals, of course. They work there voluntarily. So of course, if they're going to volunteer work, they love it. And so the gentleman who gave us the tour took us to where the cats were. And it was about 3 or 4 cats in the cage where TeTe was. And he said, well, pick your cat. I mean, I could have closed my eyes and said that one because I wasn't really interested, and my purpose was my purpose. And so I picked out TeTe. Listen, God picked him out. But I picked out TeTe, and the guy who gave us the tour set us in a room where we could bond with TeTe. I'm plastered up against the wall. My husband was sitting in the chair playing with TeTe. Somebody had to play with her so they knew that we weren't there to, take an animal and do her harm and do the animal harm. And so Herbie was playing with the cat, and then we ended up taking the cat home. Our very first day, we brought TeTe into our home. She caught a mouse. Love. I fell in love with her. Not right away, but eventually I did. And she would follow me from room to room, and she was, not with my husband. My husband thought she was cute, and he would play with her. Well, why is she following me? I'm the least one who like her. And so she would follow me, and she would meow. And my friend, who is the illustrator of this book, Michelle, you'll get to meet her later on in this video. She kept laughing at me, and she said, Sharon, you're going to love her. You're going to end up loving her. And I thought, Michelle, come on, get a grip. I'm Black, you're white. White people like animals. We generally don't. I mean, it was a mistake. It was stupid for me to say, but I just really thought I would not fall in love with her. And eventually I fell in love with her. We ended up buying her a condo. I really, really started to like her. And then I didn't know that you can train cats not to jump up on your kitchen counters. You could train them to do that. I didn't know that. I just thought they just did what they did because they were cats. But anyway, my husband did that, and she knew not to jump up on the counters, and she knew what the areas that she could go, and she had fun, and it was good. And we just fell in love with her, and I loved her. So so just to go full speed ahead a little bit, while I was here, all the deaths of Black men being killed by cops was on all-time high at that time. And so I was holding Zoom videos on racism. So this one particular video was on colorism. And if you're not familiar with colorism is talking about racism within your race. And so within the African American race, we say we go from snow to crow. That means we are dark and we can be light and we can be in the middle. We have that whole gambit. And I guess that's in every race. In the Indian race, I know they have the same thing. I mean, every race sort of has that thing. If they're Caucasians, I know she has blonde hair, she's a dumb blonde, or she has red hair, she's hot and fiery. And if she has a brunette, she's bored. I mean, you have your whatever the enemy can use to get in there, he will. And so when we had this video, and a couple people, we were holding these summits, these panels, and a couple of the people who were on this racism panel, I knew they weren't content with who they were, the color of their skin. And so, but they were rallying for, white people to like black people and, this racism. And I thought, that was good. That was a good thing because they should, but we have to also love ourselves. And so I thought, I thought, Lord, and I have to say, the Lord began to conjure in me, because he showed me that, and the Lord began to conjure in me a desire to work together with him to rectify that. And so I came home and I looked at TeTe. I was like, oh my gosh, TeTe is every color of the human race, because that's how calicos are. Calicos aren't just one color. Calicos are generally 4 colors: black, white, tan, and brown. And so when I looked at her, I said, she's every color in the human race. Let me think about this. And then I began to think, my mind began to go back to when I taught preschool, the importance of putting inside of children the love of who they are. The younger you can get them, the better it is. And I mean, I began to think, when I fell asleep, things began to come up in my mind, and I would say to my husband, Herbie, I got this idea. I always have ideas. Herbie's used to me going having an aha moment. And so when I saw TeTe, I thought, this is a book. And I thought, if we can teach kids at a young age to love who they are, because we can't make America like heaven. We can't think that everybody is going to love us. This is not heaven. Everybody's not going to love us. But we can change who we are on the inside and love who we are. Because if we love who we are, of course we can rally for who other people are. Or if somebody's trying to bully us and tell us that we're not likable, or they don't like the way our hair color is or our skin color is, we can just sort of abort that. We can throw that aside. Why? Because we have been sturdy in who God divinely designed us to be. And I thought, you know what, let's do a book for kids and let's bully-proof them and make them aware of the fact that they were divinely designed and that they can love who they are. And if they do, they can love who other people are. And so then the other thing I thought, you know what, in the book you'll notice I throw a big word every once in a while, like maybe the word exceptional. Now, a preschooler would not necessarily know what the word exceptional means, but if their mother or father or older person is reading that book to them, that's a good thing. Because God tells us, listen to this, God tells us as adults to come to him as children, but you notice he never said to the children, act like adults, because the guile is not there yet. And so they're more pliable. And God wants us to be pliable when we come to him. And so I thought, if the adults are reading this book, or older child is reading this book to a younger child, they'll pick up on some things too. Because I know from teaching preschool, and I've read a lot of children's books, a lot of them. And I learned a lot of things from those children's books. They weren't the novels that I would read. They were the children's books that I learned a lot of things from. So all of this stuff in my mind, because of these happenings that happened throughout my lifetime, came together. And so TeTe the Color Calico Cat came about with me wanting to sturdy kids up at a young age and to teach them to love themselves and to bully-proof them. Because we're always going to have bullies. They're always going to be amongst us. but we can change who we are. We can't change everybody on the planet Earth at one time. That's never going to happen. That's going to be in heaven where everybody's thinking right, doing everything right, but not here on earth. But we can change who we are on the inside. We can change our mindset. So in this quest of doing this book, that was my goal. TeTe the Color Calico Cat. And you're going to get to hear me read this book. My dream is, my hope is that this book is one day in every library in America. It's already in schools in Europe and in India. I want it in every school. Just like, Dr. Seuss, really? I thought that was a string, green eggs and ham, even though I read that to my kids when I taught preschool. But really, green eggs and ham? How relevant is that to your life, even though it was a good book to read to kids? But TeTe the Color Calico Cat is a book that's not only fun and colorful, it's very, very important for your kids to embrace the concept of this book. So come along with me and read TeTe the Color Calico Cat. You'll get to hear me read this book. And this book, well, for the first time, I'm telling you, you can purchase this book on Amazon.com and also at Barnes and Noble, or you can write to me, and if you want the book signed by me, and I will sign it and send it to you. I'll do that as well. But I want this book to be in every child's hand. I want them, because we always talk about bullies. Well, bullies will always be amongst us. There's not only children bullies, there are grown-ups who bully other grown-ups. And so if we can sturdy ourselves on the inside, to know that God divinely designed us on purpose, we are at a good place in a good state. So come along with me. Listen to me read this book to your kids and to you. And later on in this video, you'll get to meet. I'll introduce you to the illustrator of this book and how we work together to put this concept and the pictures and everything together. That was divinely designed as well. So come on, here we go. Be excited. Be excited.
TeTe, the Color Calico Cat, one of a kind, the sweetest feline, shining bright from within. She loves the skin that she's in. She's TeTe, the Color Calico Cat.
TeTe the Color Calico Cat, written by Sharon Lee, illustrated by Michelle Armbruster. TeTe, I'm so glad you're home. How was your first day of school? Well, Mama, in school, the kids kept staring at me and calling me the funny-looking Calico. Nobody wanted to sit next to me on the school bus. They kept saying that I'm strange-looking and that I'm not like other cats. When I went to lunch, nobody wanted to sit with me. They laughed and pointed at me and said, "Look at all those colors on her. She's black, brown, white, and tan." I tried to share my tuna fish, my milk, my catnip tea, but they said, "Calicos don't eat the same as other cats." When we went outside to play, nobody wanted to play hide and go seek with me, or chase the mouse, or whistle with the robins, or even dodge dog. I felt so sad. Watching all the cats play my favorite games without me made me cry. "Listen, T," said Mama, "if you went outside and it was all white or all red, or if you went into a room that was all black or all tan, or even an all brown room, that wouldn't make you as happy as being in a rich, colorful environment. But if you went into a lovely room with lots of colors, you would enjoy spending time there." I would, Mama. Think about this, T. Playing with beautiful, colorful balloons on the green grass under the blue skies and warm yellow sun is exhilarating. Yes, Mama, I just love that. Now, T, you love music, right? What if all the instruments in the world were only guitars and drums, horns, and just triangles? Would you enjoy it as much if you were listening to a full band with a keyboard, tambourine, maracas, drums, guitars, and a saxophone? A big smile spread across TeTe's face, and she said, I'm beginning to see your point, Ma. Think about this as well, T. Look at all the colorful leaves in the fall. Some leaves are red, orange, tan, and green. You know what else, T? Would you like a big pot of stew that just had only carrots? Or all peas or potatoes? No, Mama, that would make me sad. I love how different everything is. Listen to this, TeTe. The combination of colors and flavors makes you healthy, wealthy, and wise. The cats that are teasing you are all beautiful, but they just don't know it yet. You are teaching them something very important. I am a? Yes, baby girl, you are. By loving yourself, it shows them that they can love themselves and others at the same time. If they were all just one of those colors, that would be boring. Colors make the world happy. Let me ask you something, T. Did you know that on the inside, cats are all the same, but on the outside, you are all different because God made each of you special, unique, and individual. Calicos are special. Siamese cats are special. Alley cats are special. Are you special, my darling? Yes, Mama. Let's do this, my precious TeTe. You must decide to love yourself no matter what people say about you. You can't expect others to love you if you refuse to love yourself. Look in the mirror and smile. Put on your raincoat, hat, and boots and take a bow for the calicos. You are all more alike than different. TeTe, let's add this to your prayers every night before you go to bed. Thank you, God, for divinely creating me on purpose. You made me pretty, talented, smart, and utterly amazing. TeTe, practice, practice, practice loving yourself, and others will follow your lead. My gorgeous feline, you know what else I love about you? What, Mama? I love your catwalk, your 2 missing front teeth, and the way you purr when I rub your belly. Baby girl, give me one of those amazing hugs. Life is perfect just because you're in it. The end.
TeTe, the colored calico cat, one of a kind, the sweetest feline, shining bright from within. She loves the skin that she's in. She's TeTe, the colored calico cat.
Okay. Good morning, Michelle Armbrush.
Good morning, Sharon.
I told some of my viewers that I was going to introduce you to them. And this is Michelle Armbrush, the illustrator of TeTe, the Color Calico Cat. I am so excited. We always have fun together. Doing this project is just another fun time for us, and I'm loving it. So just tell us a little bit about why you illustrated the book TeTe, the Color Calico Cat, Michelle.
Well, I illustrated because you so graciously asked, and then as I hesitated and said, "Oh no, I don't know," and you're like, "What is wrong with you?" It was kind of funny, but I get a little insecure about my work, and I never really illustrated anything like that before. I didn't know what to do, and I thought, well, you know what? If the Lord wants me to do it, we're going to go for it, and He put it in my heart, and we created a book together. It was fun.
When I asked you, you didn't say yes right away. You said you were going to go to the Lord, and I thought that was perfect. You know, it was perfect because if God started you, He's going to have you finish it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
I needed His approval, His help. Because I had to ask Him, like, Lord, if you want me to do this, you had to bless my hands, bless my mind, bless my creativity. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts in this, but I'll tell you, it was the best thing I ever did. It was so much fun, and I just loved working with you at that level. It was so much fun.
Yeah, that saying that says teamwork makes the dream work. I mean, I agree with that absolutely. If I never did before, because I mean, us working together took the pressure off of one person. You wanted to be perfect, but you had the the support of the other person. It was really good, and we both had the same mindset for this. we wanted kids to be illuminated with a thought of being bully proof and knowing who they were. And you just really brought that out of me. We brought it out of each other, I think. And I think that was just so divinely designed for us to work together in this project. Do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I loved how it all went together, and I loved how well, when we would interact with, what colors do we really want? What do we want the characters to look like? And even down to the little details of,
Yeah.
the earrings, the shoes, what's the colors, what are their book bags going to look like? Because every little part, when the kids are looking at it, they're going to be like, oh, I like that. That's cool. Look at the earring. And everybody gets a different thing out of it, in addition to the wonderful words that were there of encouragement and teaching. It was just wonderful.
I mean, and kids will pick up how wonderful God divinely designed them to be, and we just want them to run with it, share it, and just love who they are, whether they have curly hair, straight hair, whatever. And the characters you made the children out to be will cover the whole gambit of kids, I think.
And the characters are cute, and we named them, we just named them after some of your family that you love so much, just give them a little flair. And they want to put your son in there as the chef, and Herbie in there as the bus driver, you in there as the mama. So it was really fun, involving everybody into this process. It was divinely designed.
Yes. I like the team that God put together. I love you, girl, and I can't wait to do more projects with you. You ease my mind so much. When I would get nervous, you would say, Sharon, calm down, you can do this. It was like, okay. And then when you thought you couldn't do it, I was like, really, Michelle, you really think you can't do this? You were like, I'll go to the Lord, Sharon. And you did. And we have TeTe, the color Calico cat, and I'm so excited about kids picking up this book and, just building on it. I mean, I'm just excited. I mean, it brings tears to my eyes almost.
Yeah, this was a project, a book that needed to come out at the time, especially with all the craziness in the world and all the racism issues and all the kids, with the pandemic, and it was just such a timely book too.
Yes. Okay, Michelle, thanks. I'm glad we got together to chat about it a little bit. I hope my viewers love you as much as I do. And if they don't, there's something wrong with them. No, they'll love you. You're just a fun person who loves kids. And I just love working together with you. Thank you so much for doing this project with me.
Thank you. It was a pleasure and it was fun. Love you much.
Yes, love you, Shell.
Bye.
Let's talk soon.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.